I'd like to introduce Loren Nicholson, who was an emeritus professor, pardon me, at the time of the crash, and he's going to tell you about his experiences of hearing from all over the world as the journalistic world gathered to find out more about the Cal Poly crash. Loren?
I just had this in front of me here for the last half hour, and I put it here when the girls came in with this postcard to their father, the two daughters who are here today. And this was Johnny Nettleship, who was a sports editor at the time in 1916, who was on the plane and who was badly injured. He was in the hospital back there for some 25 weeks. And he was, as you can see from the postcard, he was at Mercy Hospital. Johnny did come home, and until just recent years, he was attending the retired active men's meeting each week, and was always present. And we got such a great kick out of him because he had so many wonderful stories to tell all those years. But I guess even after coming home, he was still doing a certain amount of retiring. He could only work 2 or 3 hours a day for a long, long time at the newspaper until he retired. I had the chance, and once this assignment was made, to talk to some wonderful people who had all kinds of great information that was more than useful, and to run into all kinds of unbelievable coincidences, and in connection with the media too. I became fascinated with the way that information can move from person to person to person, and how each person takes hold to carry out their duty, their part of the necessity of what they must do, and how it all worked out. And what was interesting to me was first to have an opportunity to talk to our executive vice president at that time, Bob Kennedy. Bob was at a meeting and received someone came up and whispered to him that there was a telephone call for him. He tried to waylay the phone call because he had some part in the program, but they insisted that that they had said it was really important. So he went back to the phone, and he found himself talking to one of the reporters at the newspaper. And the reporter said, "Our editor wanted me to call you. He says, we've got some stuff coming in over the wire that you'll want to know about." And so, and I guess mentioned that the plane in Toledo had crashed. So Bob left the meeting, went down to the Tribune, where he could follow the pattern of and keep track of what was happening, what new information as it came out. And the object, of course, was to make major decisions about what should come next, because the circumstances were such that our president, Julian McPhee, was on his way for a month's vacation in Europe, and he had made a stopover in Washington, D.C. to do perhaps some lobbying or to talk to some legislators before continuing his journey. So President McPhee wasn't around to say anything, but now for the first time, or maybe not the first time, I won't say that, now the man who was to become our president was in full charge as executive vice president, and had to move, had to make information available in a lot of places. First, he called Everett Chandler. Everett here today? He called Everett Chandler because Everett was nominally in charge of all affairs related to the students, including all of the sports activities. And Kennedy's first instruction was for him, in his position, to go back as quickly as possible to Toledo. And so he left to do that. He then started on a phone campaign to locate